How's it going, guys? My name is Man of Toast. Let's get one ready. We got a good show lined up for you. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Alrighty. Looks like we're live. How's it going, guys? Been a little while, hasn't it? Well, here's the thing. Threat to controlled narrative. Other than POTUS, can you think of another group more attacked than Q by the fake news media? Multiple tactics deployed, including farming for crimes. Think bridge, think mob boss, etc., etc. Desperation. They're trying to pin this shit on anything. All this accurate information has to be coming from a terrible source, right? Even though that source is telling you to think for yourself, not to listen to them, but to take in the information and make your own opinion. Find your own stance. Those guys, the people telling you that message must be terrible, right? Reconcile this using logic. Think for yourself. Dividers will fail. Think for yourself. And I've brought this key to a couple people in the past, but I think when you start critically thinking about the information that you come across, it's really good to keep in mind what the message is that you're being presented. Like, for example, if you're watching a documentary and it's like, oh, there's a giant fucking asteroid that's coming down and it's gonna blow up all your shit, it's like, alright, that's gonna make you scared. If it's like, oh, there's this group of people that, like, I don't know, hates women or something, is new into the area, you better watch out. It's like they're not warning you, they're getting you afraid of people who want to hurt you. And it's like, or you could say, well, I'm more angry than scared. And it's like, well, I'm afraid anger and sadness and all that sort of stuff all stems from fear. And you can argue with me on that, but I don't think you'll last very long. But so if you're coming across messages like that's why I don't get too into like messages of global warming or watching documentaries that tell us how the climate is in such trouble and we're fucking up everything so bad. It's because all it's doing is giving you fear. Be afraid of this, be afraid of that. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm already aware of the potential problem. I'm already trying to make better on that. And the people who aren't going to make better on that weren't going to anyway. So what's the point of pushing it to those people? I have a feeling once we let go of fear, we're going to turn to different kinds of messages, which is why I think it's so key that Q said dividers will fail. That shit's true. I got that from post 3310. Up top, 3311, Q says panic. Why is there panic? Well, here's the thing, and I feel like this isn't really big news, but the Mueller report was fucking shit. It was pure shit, and it's just because I'm surrounded by this information so much now. To me, it's like, well, fucking, of course it's shit. Like, obviously, if you'd been looking up Q, you would have known. But surprise, surprise, full of shit, and everything is tumbling because of it. It's we've set off a chain of dominoes, and it's fantastic. We're getting so many new attacks, really, like misinformation attacks. Even though Jussie Smollett didn't get the full penalty that I think he should have had, everyone still knows it's bullshit. You can't deny that the news was pushing the supposed truth behind it the whole time through, and they didn't admit they were wrong. Not that I'm aware of. Leave a comment if I'm wrong about that, if you like. But I haven't heard too much about anyone saying, "Oh yeah, I guess we were wrong about Smollett." No, he's a piece of shit and he's still out, but we know it's fake. If you ask anyone about it, you're gonna find out very quickly that it's fake. Unless you talk to people who are allergic to reading or allergic to thinking critically. We'll say that. and you and I both know those people do exist. So the Mueller blockade is at an end. That's 3314. Fake investigations by committee members will not delay what is about to be unleashed, which is, oh shit, a whole bunch of, I'm thinking examples. We're making them call bluffs. I guess is that a good way to say it? Are we making them call bluffs? Because if they, yeah, because we're bluffing. Like we say, hey, we're gonna do some shit. You ready? And then they get all prepared and ready for it, but we don't do anything. But you know that we've been right. When I say we, I'm talking about QAnon and the Anon community. You know, we've been on point about the things that have come out, and it does worry them. Otherwise this shit would not work, but it does. You set something up. This was such a key thing during Red October. There's gonna be there's rumors of like this huge exposure. I was thinking a data dump of some sort. And so what happened? We got George Bush Sr.'s funeral. And what happened there? Well, we saw Clinton, Bush, the Obamas, Jeb Bush, George Bush's wife. We got to see them open up envelopes with indictments inside. And I think that was confirmed. I'm pretty sure that was confirmed. And it's great. I could watch the moment when Jeb Bush finds his. I could watch that moment over and over again. You know some shit's about to happen. So since then, because you can't really hide behind the Mueller report, they're trying to find more crimes with Russia, and this as much has been indicated in Q posts. They're trying to grasp at straws. When Q started putting up some information and talking about a rally, all these assholes showed up getting ready to turn words into weapons, and I'm trying to find the post. I'm trying to find the post, but it won't fucking show up. We gotta on what do you call it? On whatchamacallit, on post 33 or in post 3313, we got a picture of a beachside. If I'm looking at this, that's actually a port. And what we have on that is just 1st and 10 on the 40. period by Q. A code, no doubt. One that I am out of the loop on, but you guys will surely know. Or if you don't, if you look up Q clock, if you do even a little bit of research into this stuff, you can find it out. You can find out whatever you want to know about it. It really, there's so much information now that you can really just start anywhere and come away with a different understanding. Q is speculating that perhaps Rod Rosenstein, I'm assuming, his departure is next. Perhaps. That's what Q is indicating towards. Oh yeah, so because the Mueller shit is it's shit in the wind. Everything else, it's like blowing up a dam. Suddenly we have so many. It's a wide open point of entry just to start making examples instead of dropping in information and saying this is the truth. It's like, hey, aren't the people you trust acting strange? Why would they be acting this way if you could trust them? That sort of thing. Which brings me to, right, so let me ask you something real. Or let me inspire you to maybe ask yourself something real. How do you know what you know? How do you get your information? Why do you trust the people who are giving you that information? Which is why I think in the beginning I wanted to touch upon analyzing things with a fear-based or not fear-based message. Right? Like I made the example of global warming, and usually that's a fear-based message. If there was a message out there that said the Earth is actually incredibly self-healing and nothing is permanent, you'd feel less afraid. And you'd probably have trouble believing that because you've heard so much of the opposite. But at the same time, it is a message with less fear behind it. But we do live in a world full of things that want to hurt you. So sometimes when you look at a message that seems positive, you think, it's too good to be true. You can't really get behind it. But I think we should start. Like, if we know that the Earth has cycles and sub-cycles, then perhaps this whole global warming thing becomes a little less worrisome. Like, the same way each year has a winter, summer, and fall, could the planet itself also not experience a winter, summer, and fall, just in its own perception of time? Because we're where we are, and we measure our existence through clocks, and I'm sure a living planet. And if you want to challenge me on the planet being alive, I'll accept that challenge too. I think there's plenty to indicate that the Earth is fully alive. So its perception of time is probably vastly different from ours. Think about that. A planet having a perception of time, which is probably eons. So yeah, we're here and we're doing some crazy shit, but that doesn't mean it's not natural. Like, if we're natural and we made a city, by extension, that city is still technically natural, at least in my opinion. So maybe it is natural for civilizations to pop up like ours, do their thing, cycles of life. But I think that's all for this episode. I appreciate you guys.